Well, in the end of season 1, everyone lost.
Gary literally loses the entire world. So how do you begin again after you've lost everything? What's life really like? What happens when you fail and then you have to rebuild and try again? You can't quit. You have to go on because there's too much at stake.
Hugh, where are we?
The first thing he thinks is, where's Hugh? You know, like he sees the helmet, he remembers Hugh stuck with him to the very end, and he sees the helmet's broken, and he's like, oh my God, where is Hugh? Hugh.
This is my first time inhabiting a shell.
A very innocent joke was pitched. It got into the show early on season 1 where Hugh talked about wanting to be corporeal and visit Paris. And somehow that idea just sort of like really stayed with us.
It was so funny because we went through so many different concepts of Hugh and seeing all these different bodies, and like
Olin came to me and asked me to design a robot that would be essentially manning a garbage ship. So I've always found the stubby little dorky robots to be the most interesting.
My body is a nightmare.
It's one of the things that we're trying to do is just like make people laugh and make people feel things, and at the same time just address sort of like the human condition, because like Hugh is this AI, he's this like massive, you know, galactic intelligence, and all of a sudden he's put into the body of a garbage bot, and it's so humiliating, and yet the reality is that that's like you and me at the same time. I mean, you know, look at our brains and look at what they've been reduced to, you know, these sort of clumsy meat puppets that we inhabit.
Isn't Ava the best? Right, Hugh? Do you hear me? Hugh.
Have I really sunk this low?
You sure have.
in season 1 we lost a few of our members, so we had to build out this new crew and add some new characters in. The first person that came to mind was like, we have to add this person for season 2 was Clarence.
Oh, God, no. Clarence? Surprise!
He really is the opposite of Conan because he's like 4'1" and Conan is a giant. First season, I've seen that he's running this sort of like black market on the Lord Commander's planet. So you know he must be like very, very inventive and industrious. But we really see the full extent of it in season 2, where we see all of his like schemes and plans and everything like that.
Sorry, Primate, to inform you of the horribly wonderful news that I now own you.
We thought it was such a fun character and to build that character out. But then what if he had 2 like adopted children?
Oh!
Now that scares me.
I see you've met Fox and Ash, my darling children.
We had a lot of fun with that, and I actually remember kind of developing what Ash was. You know, has this dark past and these mysterious powers. And then why is she linked up with Clarence and Fox has this gun arm, but he's like in touch with his emotion.
The Toro Regatta, I think, is what my whole life as an animation fan was leading up to. The moment that I was told that the first episode had a space race that took place on the atmosphere, on the surface of a planet, I was immediately hooked in and I couldn't wait to start doing it. The big challenge with that is always, you know, how do you make those 3D ships? How do you really pull off something like that? And that was something that I credit Devo and the design team with, because we really went for broke with this space race. We wanted to be the fastest feeling thing that we could, to the point where we, I think we set off a few of the epilepsy Harding tests, and we stretched a little too far there.
I'll even sweeten the deal and throw in the Crimson Light,
A dietetic but delicious sounding soft drink?
a VX9 Light Runner. Envied by all.
I think our challenge with season 1 is we had a ship that was supposed to be a prison barge, and Gary just happened to be its only inhabitant. So we had this big wide open ship that was relatively clean and sterile for him to lose his mind in. Season 2, we really wanted something that we could live in and ultimately have. I wanted a toy of it, and I think Devo felt the same way.
With this new ship, I know Olin He wanted to do like a sleeker ship, kind of in the vein of the Millennium Falcon, and come up with something that feels very Final Space.
This would be kind of the car that Gary would buy if he had the choice. Last year, the Galaxy 1 was the ship that was forced on him. So season 2, we really wanted to give him a ship that he could be in and live in and kind of take on the personality of Gary as he grew up into the character that he is now.
Gary, days are coming. The war for your universe has begun. No one, past, present, or future, will survive.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
And Bolo shows up and he gives him this mission, and Gary kind of turns it down. And I think that was a big kind of character change for Gary, because in season 1 he was just like this gung-ho, you know, I'm ready for adventure, I'm going to do it, and he was kind of arrogant and, you know, pretty immature in that regard. But then when Bolo gives him this mission, after losing so heavily at the end of season 1, he realizes, like, I'm not the guy for this. You know, I don't want to do this. You know, like he's kind of a little gun shy, and then he hears the Quinn part, and he realizes, I have to do this. You know, this is my adventure. This is my quest. This is what I got to do now. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. So the episode 1, we did 1.
We did 1.
Let's do it. Nail these things.